Good afternoon and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Grand Prestige League here for the first pre-qualifying session here of the upcoming LMP Masters series. And this is going to be a fantastic session. We have a series of 30-minute sprint races here tonight, I guess over the course of the next 2 weeks. So we're going to go ahead and do a 30-minute session here tonight, and then this is when I know I said this to the end, but be sure you go and drop a like and subscribe, turn on notifications here to the Grand Prestige League, because it's going to be a bit all over the place when it comes to the qualifying times, or whenever we're having our pre-qualifying session. So just go ahead and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of the racing here, because it is going to be absolutely chaotic and it's going to be a lot of fun. So something new we're trying here. GPL has never used the LMP1 cars in general, and let's talk a little bit about what the series is and how the series is going to go ahead and go. So taking a look at the pre-qualifying here, everybody has to use the 2012 Toyota TS030, the LMP1 hybrid from 2012. All the sessions will be here at the Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. It'll be sunrise to start. Tire wear is going to be at a 1. Fuel is not going to go ahead and count. The slipstream is going to be real, and there's pretty much a lot of our similar settings. Now, BOP is enabled for the series, unlike our Super Formula series, but the drivers still have a little bit of freedom. You can adjust your downforce, your ride height, and your brake balance. Those are the only 3 things that you can go ahead and adjust here. And then how the season is going to play out is that so we have 7 rounds here this time. So we go to Daytona, Deep Forest, Spa-Francorchamps, the Circuit de la Sarthe, Watkins Glen, Fuji, and Suzuka, each for 1 hour. And so the interesting thing about this is that there's 3 cars that you can choose from in this series. So you have the Audi R18 hybrid, the Porsche 919 hybrid, and the Toyota TS050 hybrid. Now, here's the thing about that is anyone who has raced in the LMP1s may know that there is a bit of a discrepancy in performance when it comes to these machines. In particular, the Toyota tends to burn through its hybrid system really quickly. But as a way to kind of mitigate that and prevent this from becoming basically a one-make series, because the Audi is so much stronger, is that you are only allowed to use each of these 3 cars twice. So you can only use the Toyota twice for 2 different rounds. You can use the Porsche twice in 2 different rounds. And you can use the Audi twice in 2 different rounds. And eventually you'll use pretty much all 3 cars twice. And then the season finale at Suzuka is a one make with the car that we're using here tonight. So that is pretty much how this is gonna come down to. Every race is gonna be 1 hour, with the exception of the pre-season qualifying races like tonight. And before we go ahead and get too deep into it, we're actually still waiting on quite a few drivers to pop in here, but I do want to go ahead and give a special shout out to our league sponsor in W Energy. So if you want a energy drink that gives you all the benefits of the regular energy drinks like Monster, Red Bull, or insert other energy drink here, but you don't want a lot of the artificial sweeteners and the massive caffeine crash and a lot of other ingredients that you can't really pronounce, then go ahead and head over to w.gg, use promo code GPL to go ahead and get yourself a 10% discount and support the league, and so we can get some really cool stuff going underway. So with all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and okay, so I've actually been corrected, so I do apologize for that, but so it is an open practice session, so we're going to be doing this open practice session for an hour, and on the hour it starts. So it does say 30 minutes of racing, but ignore that. That is false information. We're going to go ahead and just run for an hour straight. Whoever pops in, and whoever doesn't pop in, then, well, That is unfortunate for them. I know it's a bit of a odd time slot for us here at GPL. We're usually significantly earlier than this, but... So, yeah. Alright, we're going to go ahead and jump straight on board with the only car on track in the moment. And that is Comer, who raced for BMW previously, and he is currently not out on track yet, so we will hop back here and wait. So yeah, so I'm pretty much looking forward to the series. It'll be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's the first time GPL is doing this, and then in the coming days we also do have the GPL 250 that's still scheduled to start up at some point. I don't unfortunately have a lot of details about that race of any official timeline, but it will be after the end of the LMP Masters series. It will be a bi-weekly series as well, so pretty much every other week we'll go ahead and have a race, so to kind of spread out this championship quite a bit. So, and then I believe it's the GPL 250 is the next event after we wrap up with this series, and then starting in November we will be back with Super Formula Racing action. And it'll be a brand new season, new teams coming in, and the first season with our fantastic sponsor of Dubby, who's been a great help to us here at the Grand Prestige League. And I am actually really looking forward to this. So, alright, now we have a car on track. We're going to hop on board with Comer, who is in that Toyota. He raced with the Sony BMW team in Super Formula and had some pretty good races. But a few races he popped up in, and this is the first time that we'll be seeing him here in the LMP1 car, so it'll be interesting to kind of see how this one navigates. I mean, because these cars are different than the Super Formula cars. The Super Formula cars do have more downforce, but I think you do get a bit more mileage out of these cars, so... And judging from the mileage shown on Comer's car, this is pretty new to him as well. So, once again, this will be the car that is used for the one make at the end of the season when we head to Suzuka in Japan. We have 2 races in Japan to round out the season. I'm really looking forward to this one because this is such a good track too to really get things kicked off. And hopefully it's the track that we will use during the Super Formula preseason, or honestly it could just end up on the calendar in general. Actually no, never mind. I know there's a Super Formula race on this week's weekly challenges, but that is for Fuji, which we won't be going there later on in this season. This is the final round where you can have your car choice, or the 3 cars still competing before we go to the one make finale. But we'll see how this goes. So right now, Comer has the best time of a 1:08.378. So that is the best time available right now. He is the orange driver, and he goes for a bit of a spin. He spins that number 7 car around, and he is going to go ahead and punch it again, try to get back going. I mean, this is really a good time to actually get used to these kinds of cars. Because, I mean, this car isn't really it's different than the Super Formulas. And if you come from driving a Super Formula to driving this car, it's going to be a bit of a twist. Or honestly, any car coming to this LMP1 category. And even the LMP1 cars, if you get them from or GR1s in particular, if you get them from different generations, like if you use the 2021 Toyota hypercar that's in the game, then it's going to feel drastically different to this car, and all the classics too. And Comer once again going for a bit of a spin, spinning that Toyota round and round. Now he's going to go attempt the reverse layout version of the track. Oh no, he's just going to do another 180. So yeah, because I mean, I actually was driving the SRT Tomahawk GR1, and oh boy, that thing is pretty stiff a lot of the time. So interesting. It's interesting to note that the GR1 probably has the most in terms of like different handling and driving styles, it's probably got the most variety out of the main group classes. Because, I mean, even though you have different generations for the GR3s, the GR4s, the rally cars, for the most part, they all have a similar driving profile, but then you get to these GR1s and it's like, you pretty much gotta learn how to drive every single one of them because they're all handled so differently when you get them from different generations. And they each have their own quirks too. I mean, the quirk with the Toyota with it burning its batteries so quickly is the primary reason why we're including this two-use rule when it comes to each of the prototypes. But right now, Comer is still going ahead and setting very good laps around this track. And this is also a good time. We're probably going to see a lot of drivers kind of try to tweak their setups a bit. Because while balancing performance is on, there's still quite a bit of tweaking that you can do to these cars. You can mess with the brake balance, and I think Comer is just getting more used to that car. It'll be interesting to see how many miles he has towards the end here. So he is doing some massive hard braking whenever he starts a lap just because that battery is pretty much gone. Comer saying he hopes it wasn't streamed, and I'm sorry, Comer. You're a very chill guy, but it was. I'm gonna have to let you know that this was definitely streamed. It was very fun for us here for myself here in the commentary box. So, I believe, in terms of commentary, I believe it is going to be myself and B23 commentating on the races together, although I believe for right now it is just me for the pre-qualifying sessions, which is A-OK. I mean, I know B23, he's also, I think he also competed in DRL earlier on today, so I know he's probably pretty exhausted, a fellow Super Formula Championship. But we're going to go ahead and just run the LMP1 cars, and it'll be interesting because I haven't really seen a whole lot in terms of the LMP1 cars, aside from that stint I did with the Euro GT League, but I did their 24 Hours of Spa for one of their stints. And the big thing that we noticed, and that's a big... we did notice that massive spin there for a Comer. This is not an easy track either. I know I said that for about pretty much every track that we race on, but this track, it's pretty easy to lose it on a lot of these corners. The road is pretty narrow in a lot of sections of track, so I mean that backstretch is really kind of one of your only opportunities to really make a good overtake as you go down the back of what I like to call the drumstick straight. Because if you look at the track from this angle, it kind of looks like a chicken leg, chicken drumstick. It's really funny how the pattern recognition in a human brain works. But I mean, I'm actually going to be pretty curious to see how much miles are going to be added to that odometer of Comer's Toyota before the night's over, because this isn't a super long track, as you can tell from the usually like low 1 minute lap times. And yeah, it's a very high speed track. You take a good amount of the corners at medium to high speed, so there's not a whole lot of I wish we could get replays outside of qualifying and the race. Because, man, I would have needed that on a replay. He just goes over, I think, a sign or something. Yeah, I think he just went over, like, a sign or something, and then that just sent him airborne. Comer Airlines is now ready for business, ready to take passengers from Georgia, USA, to Daytona, one-way trip on Comer Airlines. Fantastic stuff. Believe it or not, that is the third time or second time I've seen that exact same kind of thing happen. And it probably won't be the last either. I mean, it's the closest thing we can get to a Mercedes Le Mans 1998 moment. Also, I think there's one of the Porsche 911 GT1s also did it at I want to say it was Laguna Seca and Comer. He's going to retire onto the pits. I think he's probably going to make a few setup changes to that car. Maybe some more downforce, I would assume. So, I think it's about to get back out on track. This thing runs on AAAs. I mean, yeah. It's funny how Toyota's hybrid powertrain wasn't really very good in its early iterations. It wasn't really good in, especially for what we're seeing here, because I mean that battery, like even on a short straight, that battery just exhausts itself. So I mean, it's weird because the newer Toyota, or I say newer, but the Toyota that's going to be used for most of the LMP Masters season runs into the exact same issue. It just chews through battery like nothing. So yeah, it's like it's running on 20-year-old Duracell batteries or something of the sort. But then you get to the 2021 LMH Toyota and its battery life is actually pretty good. You know, I felt like if Tesla, oh, Comer once again, having a big spin there. And I mean, that first corner is tricky. It's trickier than it looks. I have spun out a dozen times in a Super Formula car on that exact corner. So it's if you lose the rears by any margin on that first corner, then it is pretty much going to be over for you. But something also about this track, which is just the qualifying session, so it's not really going to play a factor, but there is a brutal pit line penalty that occurs on this track. It's one of the tracks that it's probably the most notorious track for having the really bad pit line problem. This track and Watkins Glen, I know, are pretty much neck and neck for the worst pit lane in Gran Turismo award. And then you got the Red Bull Ring, that's a close third. So, if we had a race here this season, I would not be very surprised to see a pit lane penalty come in for at least one or two drivers. Nothing against the drivers, because obviously, if you guys have been around GPL for any length of time, you know that these drivers are absolutely fantastic. And they are some of the best drivers in Gran Turismo at the moment. But we also know that it is the pit lanes are a respecter of no person, so they do not care. They will bully you, take your lunch money, and give you a 3-second penalty in return. Kemmersher has jumped in. He's still in the pits. We'll stop bullying Comer for a moment and then hop over to Kemmersher when he gets on track. But first we had to watch the Comer spin into the barrier. And right now he is still trying to get the grips with the Toyota. And now here is Kemmersher now running in his Toyota. He's got a bit of a special livery on this Toyota. Cherry Blossom theme. Making his way down to the bottom part of the drumstick before making his way down the straight as he exits the drumstick corners. Gonna go ahead and put foot to floor, pedal to metal, battery to empty, and he is gonna go ahead and navigate his way down the best overtaking opportunity on the track. He's gonna look to get some times on the board as we are currently a quarter of the way into the session. And we got word that Nuko is joining in soon, so the GPL WEC champion from the prior season is going to go ahead and join on in. Funny enough, he does race for the Toyota team. Led him to P2 in the Constructors and got a win in the Drivers' Championship. And he fought very hard to get a good second place in the 2025 Super Formula 500. So we'll be having the reigning champion coming in soon. And we'll see how he fares in these cars, because we know he's quick in the Super Formula car. There's no question about that. But, I mean, we know Comer's quick in that Super Formula car as well, and he's been struggling in his Toyota. So let's see if Kemmerer is going to be able to get to grips with it. He's got a ton more mileage on his car compared to the other driver currently in the lobby. He's got 100 plus miles on this Toyota TSO 30. So he's going to go ahead and make his way, see what his first flying lap is. It's not going to be enough to top Comer's time, so Comer still has the fastest lap of the session. But we will see how Kemmerer is going to go ahead and navigate. Kemmerer is now going to really start pushing now. And it also might be due to a difference of setup as well. The beauty of these super long sessions is that you have so much time to kind of tweak your car, tune your car, and get it to the operation window that you want it to be in. Whether you want a car with a good understeer, with a lot of oversteer. And I mean, there's so many things. Even though we don't have full tuning enabled, we do have limited tuning, but you can still tune your ride height. And that's Kemmerer into the wall. The American driver also finding it tricky in this Toyota. So I think this season is going to be competitive, I think. I don't think it's going to be the case of one driver just absolutely dominating. Although some drivers who have competed in this season do have some experience in the LMP1 cars. I believe Lucian is scheduled to participate in the series, although I think he'll be in a different qualifying session. We may see him in tomorrow's session, because in Norway it is pretty late right about now. Probably most drivers on the European continent are probably either asleep or it's very late at night over there, because it is currently, well, we started at 8 p.m. here Eastern Standard Time in the United States. So, and Nuko has joined the session, so now we're going to have at least 3 cars running around on track. Good to see Nuko here. Let's go ahead and see how Comer is doing. See if Comer is able to improve on his lap time any. He's gonna try, so we'll see. I mean, he's definitely gonna want some good lap times here, especially if this is his only qualifying session. He will get improvement by only 97/100ths of a second. Comer does extend his qualifying lead to now just over 3 seconds to Kemmerer. But we see if Kemmerer is gonna improve on his time or not. You can pretty much now go flat out through the remaining part of this course. You don't need to use the brakes, at least in these cars you don't. It's going to come across the line, and it is an improvement, but still just about 3 seconds shy of that pole position time, or metaphorical pole position time there set by Comer. So Nuko, he's in the session now. He's got his car. He's about to exit the pits. I think he may just be checking in on a few settings, and Kemmerer's into the wall again. Through the tricky S's on the front part of the course. And now we're going to head over to Comer once again, as he is currently the only car on track. I think Nuko is out and about. So on this next lap, after Comer finishes lap, we'll jump on board with our champion from Season 6. We'll see what he can do. That is a very, very pretty livery. It's kind of like the old Rebellion livery, or like a FaZe Clan-esque kind of livery there. It's a very nice livery. I mean, there's so many beautiful livery designs that are in this league. It is absolutely fantastic, the amount of creativity and skill that is in the livery creators. We'll see how this one pans out, but Nuko running the number 24 is going to go ahead and try to see if he can usurp Comer as the top of the times here tonight. 40 minutes left to go in his qualifying session here. It'll be the first of 4 qualifying sessions as Nuko just rips it around Georgia here at Road Atlanta in the south of America. one of the southern states in the USA. He's going to make his way through the S's. Now, we know Nuko is pretty talented when it comes to the setup department, so I'm sure he'll have dedicated a good amount of time to getting a good setup for this Toyota for this track. And then he'll have to get one set up for Suzuka later on in the season when we finish out the season in a massive one-make race. Now he's currently improving on Comer's time by bit, but now it's just about 0.3 of a second quicker in that Toyota. So it's definitely certain that Nuko does have his car pretty much dialed in, and he's got the setup that he wants here. Nuko's going to come across the line. It's going to be a pole position by 3.5 tenths. A good starting lap here for Nuko. And remember, fuel and tire wear is not enabled during these qualifying sessions. So drivers can pretty much just go around lap after lap after lap after lap after lap and so on and so forth until they're exhausted while they go and take a quick little breather. They got a lot of time to do that though, so we'll see. Oh, but here we go. Comer is now firing all cylinders. I think he might have got a bit of a setup tune from Nuko, but I think his qualifying run might come to an end a bit early. Just going off track, touching the wall. And he was actually asking about ride height, so yeah, because I mean, obviously you want to run your car as low to the ground as possible, but so much elevation change. If you run your car too low, you're going to be scraping on a lot of these elevation changes, and you're just going to lose so much speed from that. So, it can happen from time to time. So, as always, guys, if there's anyone you want to sit on board and do a lap with, leave it in the comments section down below, and then we'll go ahead and get right to it. And for right now, actually, I think it's because he's about to start a lap. Comer is going to be the next driver to go ahead and go for a lap, so we're actually going to do a quick onboard lap here with the Portuguese driver as he goes ahead hard on the brakes into one of the final corners, the final chicane, the final braking zone on the track. He's going to put foot to the floor here, and let's actually go ahead and ride and do an onboard lap with him. So he's making his way into turn one. We've seen him lose it here quite a bit early on, having a slight snap of oversteer there, going ahead and making his way through the corners here. Nicely done, making his way through the very high speed S's, and you can just see that up until now, he pretty much had the foot to the floor using all the throttle. Now he's up by half a second. Now he's going into the bottom of the drumstick, making his way through turn one and turn two of the drumstick, having a bit of a snap on corner X, and now he's going to go down the back straight. The massive straight here. He's going to pedal to the metal, going to go for it. That battery's already empty. So, but he is still up, not by a lot, but he's still up. He is 9,500 of a second up on Nuko's time. And if he can get a good exit here, he might just take the time away from him. Coming down through the last corner, coming to the line. Is it going to be enough? It is by 0.07 of a second flat. We have a new pole sitter in session one, and his name is Comer, the Portuguese driver. Doing a fantastic job getting the car all dialed in, and he struggled early on, but he went from having about 3 miles on the car to now 25 or now 26, so he's never been putting the work into that car. Nuko is going to come into the pits, potentially making a bit of a setup change here as we watch Keminger go through the track. That Toyota going ahead and just purring around the circuit, making its way through the S's as he's going to go ahead and make his way to the drumstick corners, going to the bottom of the drumstick, hard on the brakes, got to the first part, going to the second part. You can see him feathering that throttle, feathering the brake, and then just sending it straight off through. And now he's going full speed ahead. The battery runs out. See what that sector time is. Not quite an improvement for himself. Still about 2.7 seconds behind, 2.8 behind pole. So Keminger is going to go ahead and try to bring himself closer to Comer and Nuko. 54 hundredths of a second off, not quite an improvement that he was looking for. He's going to give it another go though. We'll stay on board with him as he goes in and gives it another go. As we ride on top of his Toyota. The driver from the Hololive Racing team from Super Formula is going to go ahead and make his way through the course. After making his way through the SEZ, he's going to start the ascent to the end of the drumstick, going through the first part and then the second part of the track. And then he's going to go ahead and just send it full speed ahead. He was 3/10 down after the first sector, so wasn't looking super good there. We'll see what this qualifying time is going to be. We'll see. And now he's about 4/10 off, so it's not really improving on the circuit. He's going to call it into the pits. Nuko is out on track. We'll see if he's improving. I'm not too sure. I don't think he is. If he is, it's close margins. He's gonna put foot to floor, going to the line, not quite. Just about 1.8 tenths of a second off of his previous lap time. And about, I was probably about 2 tenths or so behind Comer. So not quite the lap he would have wanted, but actually looking at that lap, it was actually 7/10 off exactly. So, or 7/100ths of a second off there. So I guess, yeah, I am gonna admit I'm slightly confused, but that's not important because the important thing right now is that Comer still has the fastest time in the session right now. He's got a 1 minute 6.081. That's the time to beat right now. We'll see if Nuko can beat it on this attempt. As we see a car spinning around, facing the wrong direction. I can probably put a very solid guess on who that might be. And sure enough, it was Comer. Comer having a bit of a spin. Nuko was quicker on that last lap compared to his previous lap, but still not enough to jump up into he's not enough to jump in the pole here in this first session, but even if he doesn't get in this session, there are still 3 other sessions that he can go through and try to get that pole position. So we are just about halfway through the session, and we're going to actually do a full onboard ASMR, if you will. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and step away for a moment, jump on board with one of these cars, and then just let the engine roar. And we're going to do that actually with Comer throughout this lap, and we'll be right back. by 1.83 tenths of a second. It is pole position for Comer. He's going to go ahead and take that top step so far. And he's going to actually extend his gap from Nuko. I mean, he put in a good time, but only improved enough to be ahead by just 0.73 of a second now. So, and I mean, so far we do have a pretty nice roster for the season. So right now, according to my entry list that we have here, we have 9 drivers scheduled to compete in the series. We have the runner-up to the championship and Super Formula 500 winner of Lucian, running the number 62 for this coming LMP Masters season. The number 4 of Whiplash, the number 40 of Alex, and then number 11 Ducky Dono, number 15 Killswitch, number 24 the driver we're on board with of Nuko, number 3 Pixel, number 7 Rogue, and number 39 Camajor. Although we may or may not have some more drivers coming in soon, so we will see. But right now, Nuko is pushing our car to its limits, getting a little squirrely there on the exit of turn 1. Now he's making his way through the S's. He did get pole position. I did miss that. So it's a 105.602 is the new time to beat. About 3 seconds. So right now, I mean, it's been a very solid run here for these drivers, and there's still a lot of time to start improving the time. So, I mean, you still got 3 more sessions to improve upon that time. And even if you compare the averages, because you obviously want to compare, because I mean, obviously your best time is going to be the deciding factor. But if you can average your times to be consistent, then you can go ahead and use that consistency to help you try to win some races and maybe the championship here, as we are still continuing on through. We're gonna hop on board with, well, let's jump on board with Camajor for a bit, and the Sakura themed Toyota, making his way through, and it's a bit of a slide there for the Hololive Racing driver. And man, oh man, it is unfortunate to see that happen. Gonna jump on board with Comer, as Comer now making his way through the circuit, making his way through the beginning S's and going through sector 1. I feel like this is the part where most of your time is either made up or lost, because it is very easy to get a little too much on the curves and then just spin the car. He is improving though, 0.2 of a second, and he's looking to take away Nuko's time here. I think this might be, although we also haven't seen Lucian's pace yet, because we know Lucian, I mean, he's got championship material, that's for certain. He almost won the championship in Super Formula last season, and he won the Super Formula 500 at Deep Forest Raceway, so I know he's probably going to be in the mix as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if the title battle goes mostly between Nuko, Comer, and Lucian. That's my pick for who is likely going to be battling it out for this season's championship. It was purple sectors across the board for Comer, but right at the end, he just kind of lost it out. So not quite going to get pole position. It was looking pretty likely at one stage, but just unfortunately not enough there. Must have lost some time at the final chicane. And then we're going to jump back over to Nuko, who is turning his Toyota into a very expensive lawnmower at this stage. So now he's going to go down the back stretch here at Road Atlanta. Going to put pedal to the metal, go burning through that battery, and going hard on the brakes. The energy recovery system on the Toyota is working to full effect now. He's going to burn the battery down through the final corner, full speed ahead, and about just a little under 0.6 of a second away from his personal best time. So there you go. That's how that unfolded. Now we're gonna jump back with Keminger, who is trying to save up his energy for a good lap, which is interesting. Really don't have to save up any kind of energy. I mean, tire wear and fuel are really your only big concerns because your overtake acts like a nitrous meter. So you don't really have to conserve that a lot, but with this Toyota, battery conservation is so crucial. So now he's trying to make sure he's got as much battery as humanly possible. Trying to go ahead and get a full battery to go ahead and try his lap. He's going to slow down, let Nuko on pass, and then he's going to go ahead and get ready to burn it down into the final corner as Nuko goes for a bit of a spin there. Going for a tad bit of a spin into the final corner. And then now we're going to see Keminger go and try to improve his lap time, try to get closer to these two, because he is currently at the bottom of the leaderboard by just about 3.3 seconds. 3.299. We'll see. He's making his way through the S's now. Keminger trying to go ahead and get closer to Comer and Nuko up ahead. He's going to come across sector 1, and he's a 10th and a half off of his personal best. So not nearly the time he needs to really improve and try to catch up to Comer and Nuko, who have pretty much had their own little fun battle, battling for that top spot. So we're going to see if Keminger can make it up in this next sector. So he's going to go ahead and just come across the line. Not improving at all. He's now just about 3/10 down on his personal best. So maybe he's going to try to go for it this lap. Maybe this is going to be the lap where he's going to give it his all. A little bit of a wiggle there coming out of the penultimate corner, going into the final corner now. So about half a second off of his personal best. He's going to go ahead and give it another go. Going to give it a good old college try. Going ahead and just sending it through the S's. I wonder if his downforce might be a tad too high to not take advantage of that massive back straight out of the second drumstick corner. And he slides it into the wall. Keminger still trying to get the grips with a number 39 Toyota. As Nuko is going to be the next one to try to improve his time. I mean, his time is good, but it's still 18 hundredths of a second off, and he's going to take a trip into the gravel. Not going to do him any favors. We're going to hop on board with Nuko. We'll see what he can do. See if he can improve his time. But, I mean, I'm honestly just about expecting at some point that we're going to see a 1.4 come in at some point. I mean, these drivers are rapidly improving on their lap times. I mean, a 106 was like a high 106 was the score to beat when we first got here and kind of first really getting into the night. So now we're pretty much knocking on the door of a 104 potentially. Just seeing how these sessions really stack up. So yeah, so this is going to be an interesting format because there's some of these drivers who do have experience racing in multi-class or endurance racing formats, but there's also going to be some drivers that haven't. And at GPL, I know we've never done this before, so very fantastic stuff. Very exciting stuff too. It's going to give us more evidence that GPL does have some of the greatest drivers in Gran Turismo at the moment, able to adapt to whatever car is thrown at them, and they can adapt and go ahead and still produce fantastic racing. And this is the second time we have done a community series. The first time we did a community series was actually the first full series I commentated here at GPL. It was the GT 500 series that we ran, and that was a very fantastic series as well. It's all on the YouTube channel, so once you're done here, go ahead and check those races out. Every race but Kyoto is going to be on there because Kyoto was a hotbed of technical difficulties on the broadcast end. So, unfortunately, that race is not available. It was a good race, but just not available, unfortunately. But Comer now setting purple sectors once again. So, if he can nail this final straight. Oh, we are just about at the 104s already. So, it's a 105, 169. almost a Rey Mysterio number. And that is a very good lap there from Comer. Now he's going to go ahead and turn his car into a very expensive lawnmower, take it for a spin, turn his Toyota into a Le Mans, an LMP or a Le Mans Beyblade instead of an LMP car. Now Keminger is still 3.7 seconds off the pole, so we'll see if he can go ahead and try to make any kind of improvement. He's going to go ahead and try to get some good improvements going. He's going to go ahead and line up for a lap. See if he can go ahead and make his way into, at least closer to the top runners of Nuko and Comer. We will see if he's going to be able to manage. I mean, it's kind of also a very high bar to try to get close to Nuko and Comer because they're very quick drivers. I mean, if you watch from the Super Formula Series, then you know that, I mean, Nuko's a champion for a reason. So we know that, and Comer himself is a race winner. So I mean, those two drivers are quick. So it's not like, it's nothing against Keminger, but he's got some very steep competition that he's having to go up against here tonight. But this is just the first of 4 pre-qualifying sessions, so we have one tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 8 p.m. Central European Standard Time. And then we go ahead and jump to next Saturday, when we have our next bit of pre-qualifying here. So just once again, taking a look at the pre-qualifying calendar this time around. As I go ahead and pull that up. So, you have 1 p.m. EST once again for Keminger on the 26th of July. Keminger being the lobby host. And that's what I mean by that. So, with the Grand Prestige League, you have the 19th of July, which is today, which is Keminger lobby. And then it is Nuko hosting tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 8 p.m. CET. And then it is 1 p.m. EST again with Keminger, and then Nuko will host the final lobby at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's why I said you guys should definitely go ahead and drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the sessions. So yeah, you guys definitely gonna want to keep up with it, because I mean, this is a pretty small lobby now, and it's only 3 drivers at the moment, but I feel like the next 3 lobbies we're gonna see a lot more competitors on track. We're probably gonna, I mean, I'm expecting that we're gonna see all 9 drivers in the session probably tomorrow, because this isn't exactly the most friendly time zone for the Europeans, or at least this time slot, particularly as Nuko goes around a bit. The traction has been a bit of a struggle for all 3 of these drivers. I mean, when we ran Super Formula, we hardly saw these drivers really wipe out to this degree. So it's tricky out there in this car. This car in general, pretty slippery. That's actually the thing with these GR1 cars, is sometimes they are very slippery. Other times they can't turn to save their lives. SRT Tomahawk. Yeah, so I was actually doing some mock-up testing in the SRT Tomahawk GR1, and that thing is not necessarily good at turning with a standard setup and then BOP settings applied to it. So note to self, if you want a car that can turn, definitely do not pick the Tomahawk. Although, when this idea was first going to pitch, I was kind of hoping we would see the VGTs, but I think the car selection we have here is going to be very good. But what's not good is the spin we have just witnessed from Nuko. And I mean, this is a champion that we're seeing spinning out here, so you know it's tough if a champion is struggling to kind of get to grips with the car. So expect a lot more spin outs, just because Nuko is spinning out in this car doesn't mean he is washed. I mean, I'm sure some people may joke about that at some point during these pre-qualifying sessions, but I can assure that it's just the fact that this car is very tricky to navigate with around the circuit, especially if you're not running traction control, which none of these drivers are. All these drivers are running with no TC. And Comer is running with no road. Trying to tap into Toyota's WRC heritage a bit there, so yeah, interesting technique. Trying to rally the Toyota hypercar, or LMP1 car I should say. And he just spins it again. The Le Mans Beyblade going around again. And I think he's probably going to just pull it into the pits as well. He's parked the car for now. Nobody else is out on track at the moment, so that is okay. We are down to just about the final 10 minutes left of the session. Comer is going to go ahead and chill out right at that corner there. And he is edit that out. Sorry Comer, this is a live stream, so we can't exactly edit that. Ow! That was a interesting pit exit. Both cars are kind of getting into it. We love seeing this kind of thing. Go ahead and have some fun in chat real quick with Comer. Go attack Comer that just because we like to have fun here at the Grand Prestige League. I mean, this is one of the top leagues for Gran Turismo in general, but it doesn't stop us from having a little bit of fun. It is a very, very fun community, and if you'd like to get involved with this very fun community, go ahead and let us know in chat. We'll drop you a Discord link. You can get involved, and then you can go ahead and join either this series, or you can join it for the GPL 250 coming up, or you can even join in during the upcoming Super Formula season, which pre-season testing kicks off in November. So get ready for that, because that is going to be a fantastic time. More information and dates will come out as we get that information. Be sure to follow us at Grand Prestige League on Instagram to go ahead and stay up to date with everything going on. We'll be posting race results, championship standings, and maybe the occasional clip or two here and there. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We do have fun here. So welcome, and thank you so much for tuning on in. Hopefully you do enjoy your time here, because I certainly do, week in and week out. Or at least the weeks whenever we do races here. So currently we're in our off season at the moment. So we like to run a community series during the off season. Something we started at the end of season 5 of Super Formula with the Grand Prestige League. And we did GT 500. And now we're back again doing another community series with the LMP Masters this time around. So it's gonna be fun, because these cars are fun to drive, but they are very tricky, as we're seeing here tonight. So, and Nuko is once again in that Le Mans Beyblade. You spin me round, right round, as the Toyota goes right round into a wall. It's going to park it there for Keminger to come on through. And then we're going to jump on board with the American driver. Going ahead, and it is time for the final 10 minutes of the session so far. And then session 1 will be coming to a close. And I mean, Keminger is definitely going to want to improve on his result, because he is still currently he is unfortunately 3.2 seconds off of the pole time. And as I'm just now reading Comer's message of it yearns for dirt. So actually, here's a question for you guys in YouTube chat. You can leave this in the live chat, or you can leave it down in the comment section down below if you're watching this after the fact. But would you guys like to see a rally championship coming from Grand Prestige League? I don't know why. I've been kind of like itching for a rally championship here at GPL because I think it'd be a lot of fun. You don't really see a lot of those. Or at least I personally haven't seen a lot of those. I'm sure there's rally championships out there, but considering that rally isn't super popular in this game and there's not really a lot of tracks you can go to, you pretty much have like 5 or 6 options maybe at most. I mean, the Lake Louise one's pretty neat. I do like that track, and I think if they made like a road version of that track, it would probably be in a lot of leagues, as we've seen a lot of spins here tonight. Another one from Camazur now. But I do think that if we got a rally championship, it would be really fun. Be fun to watch, honestly. And I mean, the rally cars can be pretty fun. It's just, it's kind of an unfortunate time for, well, a lot of anything that's not like GT3 or like endurance racing or even Super Formula for that matter. But I mean, a rally championship would be fun, but it runs into the same issue of just not a lot of tracks and just not a lot of people actively drive those cars. But I think we could go in and still have a heck of a championship here at GPL in rally cars. So let us know if that's something you'd like to see, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, I mean, it's close to the end of the session now. It is 8 minutes to go on the session. So pretty much right at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But yeah, it's we have a good calendar too this time around. So I'm really looking forward to the races here. Lots of good races. Every single race is a 1 hour race. So we're running a 1 hour timed race. So strategy is going to play a good part of it as well. Now, it's kind of funny to know that it is longer than the typical GPL race, and we have drivers from both of our Super Formula divisions competing in this series. So, our GPL division, our WC division, which the races there typically run for about 40 to 45 minutes, give or take. Sometimes more if there's a sprint involved. And these races are an hour long. The only race that is longer than these races was the... Oh! I'm sorry. I saw Camazur sliding, and we have another car joining the airlines club, and just I have never seen that. I think we've seen it from Comer earlier, and now Camazur is also joining the club of trying to tap into some of that Toyota rally heritage. It's kind of concerning that I've seen 2 LMP1 cars take flight here in a singular night. I'm gonna have to rewatch the stream and go ahead and get those clips for myself, because I personally want those clips to see some airborne LMP1s. But yeah, it is just about 5-ish minutes left to go, a little over 5 minutes left to go in the session, so everybody should be getting in about a good another 3 laps or so. And then for each minute, we're gonna go ahead and jump onto a different car, so we give a good amount of more screen time to quite a few of these drivers. So we're gonna go ahead and now jump over to Nuko, as he's about to go ahead and begin his flying lap. So it's been a really funny session so far, a lot of good moments. I think it's a pretty solid precedent for just a fraction of the action we're going to have here in the season. But going on to Nuko now, he's going to go ahead and make his way through the S's, and there's a parked car surely off the S's with a very good front row seat to watching these very beautiful machines of endurance prowess go off track. And I say that as he actually does go off track there. Nuko cutting it a bit over the line there on exit. Going to the bottom of the drumstick layout, and now he's going to spin into the wall. That might be his lap. Done, dusted, signed, sealed, and delivered. So that is super duper unfortunate. Nuko says he's struggling. You and the entire lobby, bud, you're all struggling out there, but it's kind of normal when you're trying to get used to a brand new car. I mean, a brand new car, and it's nothing against Nuko or any of these drivers. It's just that it's everybody struggling to get to grips with this car. And Comer, I just saw that time, and Comer still got the fastest lap time so far by a long shot. I thought it registered that he set a new lap, but probably because Nuko, or maybe because Comer's just exiting the pits, it's probably why it acted weird. But 3 minutes left to go. We're gonna spend a minute with each of our drivers as Comer's gonna go through. We're actually gonna hop on board with. Actually, we'll wait until this minute is done, and then we'll actually hop on board with Camajur. So he's gonna go ahead and start his lap now. He's gonna put the foot to the floor, go ahead and let that Toyota roar, and we'll see if he can go ahead and keep this car facing in the right direction, because that has been a very tricky task for these drivers here, going through what is essentially American Eau Rouge with a tricky couple of S's shortly afterwards. And then he's going to go ahead and make his way down to the drumstick corners. He is improving though. It is 800ths up on his previous time, so we might be looking at a new pole time here as we kind of close out the clock. So he is going to go ahead and put pedal to the metal going down the back straight after exiting the second drumstick corner. He is going to go ahead and just let it rip. Oh, he's going partial throttle, so he's not in full throttling it down the straight, so wasn't feeling that lap. We're going to now hop on board with Camajur, who is definitely trying to get his lap going. He did improve his lap. He did close the gap a little bit to now just about 2.5 seconds, as he's going to go ahead and continue to try to close that gap even further, because he's really only going to have maybe 1 or 2 more laps at most after this one. So he is not improving though. He's still half a second off of his previous lap time, which is right now a 107.856. His fastest time on the session right now. And he's going to go ahead and come across the line. No improvement for him. He's going to give it another go. And we're going to stay on board with them throughout this lap, and then we're going to head over to our final contestant of Nuko. And Camajur, yeah, I think that's his lap pretty much done. I don't think he's improving on this one either, so I think that's pretty much going to be his time done and dusted. But there's still 3 more pre-qualifying sessions that you can obtain, so we're actually going to jump onto Nuko now. We'll see if he can go ahead and take away pole position from Comer here. He's got to put on a mighty strong performance here. Not going to happen this time. It's less than a minute left to go, and it is soon going to be timeout for this qualifying session. So now he's going to go ahead and just rip it across the line. Not an improvement, 1.8 seconds off, and that is time. So it is time up. Everybody will be able to go ahead and complete a lap. So Camajur, his time is done. So the only driver still available to set laps would be Comer and Nuko. Comer is improving though, so we'll see if he goes ahead and improves his time here on his final lap. And the final lap notice has been given out. And Comer just spins it. That could have been an improvement of a lap time. Not going to happen. He's going to pull off away from Nuko, who is still himself trying to improve on his lap. We'll see if he can go ahead and improve. So Comer's done, Camajur's done, Nuko's the last one going for it. Ooh, he's got to make up about a second or 1.2, or he's got to make up about a 10th and a half through the chicane if he wants to go ahead and improve on his lap time, let alone trying to usurp Comer, and no peas into the wall. So that is qualifying done. dusted, signed, sealed, and delivered for everybody now. So everybody is just going to go ahead and finish up and return to the pits. That is the session done and dusted. So once again, your top three, we have Comer, whose best lap time was a 105.169. Nuko behind him with a 105.637. And then it is Kemajur, whose time I unfortunately wasn't able to see at the moment. So that is the end of this qualifying session here, ladies and gentlemen. A few drivers still turning a few more laps. Nuko's fastest time was a 105.602, as the drivers are just going to go ahead and report their times in chat. So just waiting for Comer and Kemajur to report their fastest laps, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up the stream. So once again, everybody, thank you guys so much for tuning on in to today's stream. It is a pretty solid look at the relative pace in the early stages, the first qualifying session here. So Kemajur's best time was a 107.865, or 856 I should say. And then we know that Comer had a time that was a 105.1. A 105.169 is the time for Comer at the moment. And there we go. We do have all the times. So we'll be back here at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another 1 hour qualifying session here. We're expecting a lot more drivers to participate in this section. So this is going to be a very fun time. We had 3 cars. We kind of saw like some of the early struggles that a lot of these drivers were kind of experiencing with this LMP1 cars. It is a good challenge, I will say. I agree with Nuko there. It's an interesting challenge. Some of these drivers may have never really raced in these cars competitively. I know a few of them have. I know a few of them have raced in these LMP1s in other leagues. But that's all the time we have here for tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in to the stream here at Grand Prestige League, brought to you by W.GG. Once again, use promo code W.GG, use promo code GPL at W.GG for a nice 10% discount, and that way you can also support the league and the fantastic teams and drivers that compete here week in and week out. So, thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Once again, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and I've been your host and commentator for this qualifying session, and we'll be back tomorrow for more Road Atlanta preseason qualifying LMP1 Masters. Have a good night.